I just finished up a workout. I'm going to do a quick trip on the way home. I just thought it was really timely to do another show of the FSD progression. It's just getting really, really good. I mean, things are really improving. It seems like this week I was just thinking as I've been noticing the change. I mean, change is noticeable day to day. That I think there's got to be some setting that Tesla's gauging as far as like their level of confidence, and so they're increasing that level of confidence, making the car more assertive, more just willing to take higher level risks, knowing that the probability of those risks are not any longer as high. So the risk might be bigger, but the probability is getting lower. Essentially, just making the car do things that are more natural. Being aggressive in taking lane changes, being aggressive passing through lights or moving through stop signs, making turns. And maybe aggressive is not the right word, just more natural, just like the things that you would expect to do, so it makes it more comfortable as a passenger behind the wheel of the Tesla full self-driving beta engine. So anyways, and this is occurring like all over the place. Parking lots are getting better, the streets are getting better, scenarios are getting better. There is one area that I'm still struggling with, and that's roundabouts. I've got a number of roundabouts in the areas that I drive, and it still is a bit hesitant to make the moves. For some reason it treats it as a yield sign, and as I say that, it made the strangest little turn into this lane and sticking his nose out. Here we go, this driver's like, okay. So that's just perfect timing for my conversation. There he goes, it makes its way through the parking lot, gets to the light. A lot of times it would just slow down and assess that light for a second before it makes the move, but making a nice progression or drive through the light and onto the road, making that right hand turn and moving on. Yeah, so as well as I don't know if it's just me, I might be reading into things or getting a little too ahead of myself in my thought process on this, but essentially like even the sensitivity of the autopilot check on the driver is just a little bit easier to not get in and out. Like before you'd have to give it a good tug, but now just like touching the wheel and giving it just a slight amount of pressure relieves it of that notice, allows the car to continue as normal. So I was just trying to find something that isn't going to be it still does is like it just sometimes these like preset activity on the road, so it always around that same little sewer cap or manhole, it makes its way over to the left lane, and on the way over this way it always slows down at that one light ahead of the light at the manhole. Again, like I don't know if it's the manhole, the sewer cap, whatever that's causing it to slow down. I'm not sure what it registers, if it thinks it's a speed bump. But yeah, every single time it still just does that, and I will turn off FSD, disengage it, and re-engage it, hoping that this starts to take that into account. But man, it's not yet made that change. But back to the earlier point, it just feels like there has been an adjustment in the level of the confidence and the cars being able to just be allowed to do more of the driving with less caution, or just a little bit less hesitation, believing in itself. Essentially confidence, it just increased confidence, and the car is doing what you're hoping that the car is able to do eventually, which is become your chauffeur, your driver. A lot less phantom braking, not completely gone. There's still some scenarios where it gets a little bit hesitant when a car is moving into a lane at a direction or angle that looks like it's not going to veer away from you. But it hasn't happened in a few days, so maybe the scenario hasn't come up as often recently, or just haven't noticed it, but it definitely seems like that's improving. Yeah, and I guess this is kind of in line. It kind of makes sense, right? It makes sense because version 11 of the full self-driving, the anticipation of that for a long time has been going on, and it sounds like they're starting to release it to more employees, and eventually is going to be released to the public, if not already. I think I saw one instance on Twitter of someone receiving it as of today to download. So the full vision being available for both city and highway driving, so it's completely vision based. That should be pretty interesting, taking it on the highway and see how that acts. I mean, but to do that, you got to believe taking a car going 70, 80, 85 miles an hour max for full self-driving at this point, that's a higher level, higher risk tolerance, right? If you have an accident at those speeds, there's a much greater potential for worse outcome. So your confidence has to be high in the city streets to transition over to highway in order to let vision do the navigation, driving. That's a big step. It'll be interesting to see if this additional news is going to continue to keep the momentum in the stock price as well. Tesla's been on a phenomenal run since it bottomed out around $100 about 3 months ago. And ever since then, it's been on an upward trajectory over to top right hand corner of the charts, and today it's been hitting some of that resistance back at that 215 range, right below 220. I mean, it's got a lot to work through to get through 220, so if it breaks that, it's just going straight to 300. I would think, just because there's just so much expectation in the market that it's going to at least have some sort of pullback at this price. People taking profits on their astounding gains if they went in at anywhere near that $100 bottom. All the options that are getting in there heavy. You get the FOMO and the retails, or just people just dropping in to chase what has already been a great run. At the same time, there's just still so many negative people that are having to either cover their shorts, so we're still getting that last little bit of a squeeze, it seems like, because we hit the just right under 214 a week ago, and then started to pull back, and then are right back up at 214 again today. So it's giving out this short-term double top that will carry us back down to around 170 to 180. But given the strength so far, I don't know if it'll make it down to 170. I mean, if it gets anywhere down to 170, that'd be another amazing opportunity at this time, a short-term range at least. But 180 would be a phenomenal outcome as well for moving shares back up or adding to existing shares at a price that can quickly get back on track to going towards 300 before summertime. There's just so much positive news that's coming around Tesla. You just got the overall kind of understanding that Tesla's margins are still world class in the auto industry, and that they stand to be the most. The scenario is just perfect for them, because they've positioned themselves to be almost no debt, nice cash treasury, cash reserves, automation and factory settings just hitting its peak, and potentially still has another 50% room to grow to improve on that efficiency in the manufacturing process. So even as they bring prices down, their margins are either being maintained or possibly can see an improvement on top of the tax credits, overall just world economy trying to push electrification of the world. So there's so many incentives that are just set up for Tesla. Strategically, they've put themselves in position to maximize all of those incentives, just like they've done in the past. So I mean, I can't imagine being in a legacy auto industry situation, or even some of the newer car makers like Lucid and Rivian. They came in, they have the new factory, but they just don't have what Tesla has, which is just world-class employees at all levels: manufacturing, software, hardware, supply chain, and overall just general strategy. that comes together and magnifies their productivity and efficiency well beyond anyone that's stepping into the ring. So, and I don't think I'm being, too just drinking, I'm not drinking the Kool-Aid and being too over optimistic. It's just all the points they're hitting is just phenomenal. It couldn't be played any better, I don't think. I mean, there's always room for improvement, you would say, but they are really doing a phenomenal job. So here I am. It's taking a little time to assess this blinking yellow light. I think assessing, like, you got pedestrians, you got cars, but then makes the nice left-hand turn. Here we go. Nice smooth right-hand turn. So just loving the position, and on top of it, they're not just a car company. They've got all these other ancillary lines of business that are not small by any stretch. I mean, you've got this energy business taking on solar power and battery storage, and the management of all that coming into play very quickly. And there's incentives around that market that are just even bigger than the ones that are in the auto industry market. So that's phenomenal. And then you've got their insurance improving, and adding to the bottom line. You've got their financing coming into play. So here's a company that has the strength to be able to continue to offer low interest rate for their product when other companies don't have that. I mean, they can go out there and say, hey, you can still get 1% interest rate on your car to purchase it, while other companies have to increase their rates of interest because they can't afford that. Well, anyway, so that was the drive. Short drive got here, and no interventions at all. Here we are.